Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. If you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I dive deeper into all of these sectors that we look at. I'm looking for highly leveraged companies that have a high probability of success for the conditions that we are in. Right now, sure looking like it's gold and silver. So if you're interested in trying to find good investments for your potential investment for the portfolio, check out the website. We have a May Day coupon code, MAYDAY, 50% off for the first month. And if you want to join for a yearly membership, you get a larger discount. And you can always switch from the monthly to the yearly membership, whoever you are. So let's dive in. Let's take a look and see what's going on today. We've got a weakening dollar. The trend has been lower in the dollar. We are looking for potential weakness here or strength to show up, and weakness has shown up. It's a bearish engulfing. It looks like the dollar could weaken further. So we've got that trend intact. That's most likely being driven by lower interest rates. So we look at the 2-year yield, and that is falling. It is falling. Look at that. Falling interest rates. The momentum is still down, and that looks to continue lower. So we could still see pressure being released in the dollar. And I do think that we'll probably hit this cool little box I put here. Somewhere in there is probably where we're going to end up. And that will result in a weakening of the dollar. And remember, commodities and a lot of these things that we invest in are denominated in dollars. So the denominator is falling. It's going to raise the price of gold, silver, and everything that is denominated in dollars. 10-year yield falling today. So it is starting to roll over. We saw that contraction and the wick starting to come up at the top. We had a wick on the top today and a little bit of selling pressure. So the momentum is heading lower on the 10-year, and the 30-year a little bit more stable, but we are getting these wicks at the top, which generally means you get a little bit of selling pressure, resistance or selling pressure. So think of it as like resistance coming across here. You come up and hit it, and then it bounces. And we'll see if we get some follow through over the next few trading sessions. TYX TNX ratio, it is higher. What this is signaling is that the curve is uninverting compared to history, so it's coming on up. And that is the 10-year versus the 30-year. So the 10-year fell more than the 30-year. So with a weakening dollar and this starting to go up, this is jet fuel. Jet fuel, guys, for our takeoff in gold and silver. TLT bond prices moving sideways in the 20-year. So not much action going on there, just moving sideways. And I think this will go up with weaker yields. So bond prices are up, yields are down for bonds. The 2 and 10, we continue to uninvert. We are down to 0.95. So the 2-year fell a lot more than the 10-year. We are continuing to uninvert or normalize the curve, steepening the curve. And this time it's steepened with the curve dropping. So that's what we're seeing there. This is going to be the correct market conditions for gold and silver to rip. So looking at gold, we are up $35 an ounce. We've broken out of this resistance area and are cruising higher. Now this could still continue to run to the upside. It looks fantastic. We also have silver, 32.55. 32.55. Now, like I've said, this thing is ready to rip at any second. Well, here's it ripping. It is ripping right now, and it looks fantastic to continue. We're at a low area. We've broken out. We did a little bit of a flag pattern, and we're breaking that to the upside. So this could run. We'll see how far it goes. There's some resistance up here. There's resistance in the 34, 35-ish area that we have to break through. But again, this could cut through that. It might. Like a hot samurai sword through butter. It could just cut right through it. I don't know. We'll see what occurs. Platinum up over 3% today. looking fantastic. So we have a falling wedge, the breakout. This here is a flag pattern that's ready to break. That flag pattern is going to be hopefully enough juice to get us above this resistance line. And you can also draw a resistance line right on the closings here, which is down a lot lower. So I'd like to break all of this and clear it. So platinum looks pretty dang good, is what I'll say. Palladium also up 1.9. It's bouncing off that support zone down here at $900. And it does look good. It still looks good to continue higher and meander its way on up. We've got the broken downtrend there, and it's working its way on up. It looks good. GDX up to 2.6%. This is the one that is furthest along in the breakout. So you've got a flag pattern here, and that's broken to the upside and running. So that looks really good. The projected move is generally the size of your flagpole. So it's something like this, and then you throw it on top, and that is the projected move up to $62. We still have a ways to go. GDXJ also this looks fantastic, guys. We've got this nice bottoming here, that bottoming pattern. We're breaking through this resistance right to the upside with a big, fat, green candlestick there. So that looks fantastic to continue higher. It looks really good. And then SILJ. SILJ is a little bit more early in the move. We are within the bigger pattern. We are closer to the potential breakout that we had there. We are breaking this kind of consolidation to the upside. So that looks really good for SILJ, and I think there's a long runway ahead of us for this to continue higher there. Looks really good. XAU to gold ratio, we have the gold and silver mining companies that are outperforming gold. We're still almost in a consolidation pattern still. We haven't even broken out, and look how low we are. We are still at uber cheap prices. What this means is that we could have a very big bull market ahead of us in gold and silver mining companies, and no one's looking right now. No one is paying attention. No one is looking, much like the big short. This is just the reverse. This is the big long. And the big long, not confused to be with the big schlong. It's the big long in gold and silver and commodities. It is just starting. And we just came off the bottom of some of these. And if you guys purchased the bottom, I hope you have the ability to hang on. That's all I'm going to say. If you need help, you need to figure out what you want. Join the website. Hang out with our group on Discord. Figure out, go to the meetings that we have on the weekends. Get educated and help yourself in this bull market. Find the right companies. Get the right emotional the strategies, the emotional fortitude. Get all that ready, guys. This is going to be one heck of a bull market that could change your life. Crude oil. Crude oil is up 1.6%. We are still underneath, and I redrew this. What I did is I hit the bottoms here of these candlesticks. So that's what we bounced off of, was this support down here. And then I threw another trend line coming up on the bottoms there. We're right underneath that. I'd like to break that. If we don't and we roll over, we could roll over and still consolidate further, or maybe even have a sell-off, depending on if we do get a recession and unemployment and all that stuff. Crude oil is not in its powerhouse yet. It will be in the future. It will be. Gold generally leads crude oil. So gold's already ripping. This will rip with gold eventually. Give it time. It's coming. TTF gas down a little bit. Down point whatever percent. We're right above around resistance support. We've got natural gas in America down a little bit. Still got good momentum going up. Longer term, I think natural gas would be an incredible play here. It's almost like it's trying to put in some sort of bottoming pattern, like an inverted head and shoulders, ready to rip at some point out in the future. We'll see if we get a cold winter and all that other stuff as well on top of it to juice this market up. XOP, yeah, you know me. It's down 0.64%, although we had an up move in crude oil. This still looks weak. It is a bearish engulfing, and we could head a little bit lower or sideways with this price action. The overall macro fundamental picture is still negative on oil, and it may remain negative for a period of time. Gold and silver are in favor, and the precious metals. The inflation-sensitive assets, like oil, right now are not in favor. OIH up a little bit, but again, it's not in favor and running like some of the other sectors. So we've got that recessionary inflationary mix put together, which is great for gold and silver. And right now it is lagging in oil and energy services. And there could still be some downside left in this if a slowdown does materialize. Newcastle coal futures up 0.75%, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. And I think this will go sideways or higher with time. If we get a slowdown, it's going to be more of a drag sideways. If there is a more inflationary push and the economies recover a little bit better, this could come out of the sideways action to an upward action. Sprott Uranium Trust up a little bit today. Not a big day, but the momentum's still up, still looks good. We've got uranium futures pricing up a little bit. It looks like it wants to head higher, and we'll see if it continues on up. URA up about 3%. Looks like people are positioning in the equities. It looks pretty good. And this does look to be a double bottom. So we just went through a double bottom together on here. URNM doing the same thing, coming off that double bottom, looking pretty good, pretty strong. And there could be a retest here. Don't lose your cookies if we get a retest there down back to $44 or so. And then URNJ also coming out of that base, looking pretty good. Copper up 4%, ripping it. I know a lot of these moves are probably attributed to the stimulus in China, a little bit of positioning action going on, but copper looking pretty good and benefiting from that. But that looked good anyway. It broke its downtrend and was working its way on up. You should have already been positioned for this. COPX up 7%, rippy, my God. Broken out of this, and we are ripping higher for copper. Bigger picture view, this looks pretty good. We've got a big double bottom here. This is your break. This is your ideal entry point for technical analysis. This is that pattern that we saw like in silver, breakout, consolidation, and then we're breaking higher. We're in stage 2 and it's breaking on up. So it looks really good. And this is your stage 1 bottom. FEF, iron ore up a teeny bit, and it's still trying to consolidate from the slowdown in China. It'll work its way around. Just give it time. Aluminum also higher, but it's still within this resistance zone, which is that zone there between resistance and support. Nickel down a little bit, and again, give it some time. I think this needs time. It doesn't look ready yet because if we were ready, we wouldn't be getting these big selling pressure candlesticks in here. Give it time. I think there's still some basing to do. We've got Mu up 0.7%. This looks really good. I think it looks fantastic. To me, it looks like it's trying to put in a bottom and work its way on up. That looks really good for Mu. Emerging markets, that weaker dollar, weaker yields, ripping for emerging markets. I think this will continue as long as we get a weaker dollar. Uppity. This could be a big move too. We're seeing currency exchange rates favorable for a lot of the commodity currencies at the moment. KRE down a little bit. Still within this pattern, that awesome pattern I drew in there by hand. Maybe I can make it a little more legit. I'll just kind of throw that, like, I'm going to cut that top off there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this and just throw it like that. So we're squeezing up. You could also maybe draw it sideways like this, depending on how the pricing action trades. And then TAN up a little bit. Weaker dollar, weaker yields. TAN likes it a little bit, but I'd like to see some bigger buying pressure in here. Lithium. This looks good. Now we could pull back and do a retest before we take off, but this was broken and made a new high today. This has activated my senses. If you guys want to look at lithium companies, we can do that. And I think there's some opportunities. I will bring those up tomorrow in the midweek update on some lithium potential opportunities there. REMX up 6% as well. There's precious, or not precious metals, rare earth metals. And that also looks like we could be bottoming. We're making a new high. So that looks really good. Could be a double bottom. And then the new high here. We've got Baltic Dry Index up 1%. I do think shipping should go up as stimulus is deployed in China. You need to ship stuff there and back. XHB down a little bit today and just holding steady. We're still looking bullish. Not much selling pressure up there. Still looks good to continue higher. Russell 2000 Still looks good. We've got a nice big move higher and basically a flag pattern to continue on up. That looks pretty solid. We've got the S&P 500 that is just hanging out and chilling right where it's at. We have broken that resistance line to the upside. NASDAQ doing the same thing, broken resistance line, just chilling out, hanging. It still easily could head higher. We've got SMCI down just a teeny bit. It's hanging out. We had a lot of selling pressure from this high, $1,200, all the way down to a little under 500 bucks, and it's just chilling sideways. If this is going to go higher, I'd like to see some, big candlestick or something turn us on up. Otherwise, the door is still open for a reversal lower if we get a bearish engulfing or something like that. Nvidia up about 4%, still underneath the resistance line, but it's looking like it wants to try to break through it. We've got Bitcoin up, still looks bullish. We've got a falling flag pattern that looks good to go up. So that looks good. And then we've got Ethereum also slightly higher, but this is a pattern that is forming in a downward facing pattern, which makes me think that we could potentially go higher. Maybe that's liquidity coming into the system. Very well could be. So this could be a pattern where your potential flag move or something would be a much higher, something like that, or on the lines of that, wherever it breaks out, something like that. But that's what I've got for today, guys. So give me a thumb up for the content, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the website if you'd like. I'm going over I got a midweek update tomorrow, going over a lot of different investment opportunities that I see. Some are freshly bottoming, going to take some time. Others look like they're coming and starting to turn on up in the gold, silver space, and some of these other metal areas too. So watch for that tomorrow. I'll post it on the website, giving my opinions on how I would position and what I'm looking at. So hopefully you guys are doing good. Silver is obviously something that I'm very optimistic about looking at these charts here, and hopefully you guys are too. And hopefully you're able to hold long enough to take advantage of what's coming ahead of us. But we'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.